Hey, welcome back to the channel. In this one, I'm going to show you how to upgrade your thermostat. In this case, I'm removing an old one for a Honeywell. So I have an old Honeywell, and I'm getting a T5 smart thermostat installed. So this will be an install and review process, as well as I'll show you how I got this upgrade for 10 bucks. So let's get started. Sorry about the bad lighting on this. I'm in the middle of remodeling the hallway. But the first step is to get this removed. So on this model, you have to press in and remove it. And it clips out. Again, this thing, the screws are stripped. So, but the next part I'm gonna fix all this, but next part I'm gonna do is take a picture of all the wiring to see where it was currently wired to, and then remove the screws, remove this back plate and this cover. This style, I need a small flathead to remove all the wires. So I got a jeweler eyeglass flathead, and I will loosen all these screws and pull the old wires out. Okay, so I got all those wires out. I should mention I shut the breaker off to the HVAC system before I started, so all these wires are dead. They actually installed a low voltage plastic box for the wire. A lot of times it's just a drilled hole and they run it down from the attic or basement and come through the hole. These are all stripped. I got a voltage box. I know the new mount is smaller and I'll need to screw into the center here. So I'm going to do some drywall work, sand this, texture it, put in a blocking plate that I can mount my new thermostat mount to. So I'll do that all off camera since I'm remodeling the space anyway. And then we'll get to the install of the new thermostat. So since I had that outlet here, all I did was get some 1/4-inch plywood and screwed it into the outlet box. And then I joint compound over it, textured it, and went ahead and primed everything just to blend it in. But now let's go open up the new thermostat box. So you can open the top, but actually there's this side piece that opens, so be careful. I almost dropped it out. And then we have our thermostat there. Wall plate. Some mounting screws and hardware. So quick look through the quick install guide instruction book. It comes with some sticker labels if you want to label your wires. Goes through the whole process, turning and removing your old thermostat, verifying that your old thermostat is compatible, right? So it's a 24 volt system. You don't want 120 or 240 volts. Little schematic overall of how it installs. There's also trim plates you can get for this. I didn't get a trim plate. So I like the fact too that the mounting plate is smaller than the actual thermostat, because like in the past when the mounting base matches the thermostat side, it's a pain if you want to paint your walls, but this way you can just take the thermostat off, paint around it. So I'm going to install this and paint my walls later. All I have to do is pop the thermostat off, paint around the base, and then put it back on, and I'll have full coverage of the new paint color around it, and I won't have to worry about getting paint on my thermostat or unmounting the mounting bracket. Tells you how to install the anchors, just a few things, all how to set up the app. So not bad instructions. So bracket, there's a pull for this little cover, which also covers all the wires when your thermostat is mounted, which is really cool. Also in the directions, this doesn't require any jumper. So it has a kind of a built-in jumper for a 2-stage red, 1 or 2. So you just slide this down or up, depending on your configuration. We'll get into that later. But for now, I'm just going to feed all the wires through the middle and get my thermostat mocked up and level, just centered on the hole I drilled in this plate. And that looks level to me. I'm just going to use one of the supplied screws to mark where my holes are going to be, right in the center of these slotted things. So they're slotted for some adjustability too, which is nice for these mounts. Just poke a couple little holes. Yeah, that should work good. So I can pull this back off. And then since I have a block of plywood screwed to an outlet box, I'm not going to be using the drywall anchors. So these screws are just going to go right into that plywood, but I'm going to pre-drill the holes first. Let me grab a drill bit. So I pre-drilled my holes. If you were in drywall, again, you would install those drywall anchors. I'm going to start all my screws into my plywood backer. And do that for all three. Alright, another little small detail. So it tells you the C wire is required for Wi-Fi thermostats, which is like your 24 volt AC common, that you need to run these kind of digital Wi-Fi thermostats. It doesn't have enough juice to run off like a 9 volt battery. But it also has a strip gauge, so you can line your wires up and make sure they're stripped between 1/4 and 3/8 and they fit. So check all your wires, make sure they're stripped properly. In my case, they are. So now let's feed all the wires back through the center and wire this up. I'm just gonna use the picture I took on my phone of where all the wires were going on the old thermostat, and then explain to you if I need to change anything. But usually that's all you have to do. And a little on how it works. So in the center is where your wires go in. There's a little tab on the outside that you pull down, shove the wire in, and then when you let go of the tab, it locks it in. You want to do all this wiring before you mount it. It's going to be really tricky to try to wire this up with it mounted on the wall. Even the directions tell you that. So I'm going to just do one wire at a time. I think that'll be easiest. So I'll get it lined up at the hole, pull the tab down, slide it in, let the tab come back up, give it a little tug, make sure it's secure, and do that for all the wires. I have 7 wires on this setup. Alright, got all 7 of my wires in. I just, again, once I pushed them in, I pushed back up on these clips a little bit and gave them each a little tug, make sure they're secure. At this point, you can work your wire back into the wall and mount it up. So let's get the screws and mount this up. I have all my screws into all the grooves, but not tightened yet. I'm gonna check. I have a little level. I think it came with a TV mount. So I'll set this little level up here. So right there is level for me. And go ahead and tighten down the screws. So it's fully mounted. I like the 3 screws. It's very solid, no play in it. Very nice setup. So before I close it up, again, I have the picture of where my wires were on the old thermostat. I'm going to double check my work one more time. And then I'll go over kind of what to expect with the wiring, or what they commonly are. And a little overview of wiring. So I didn't really have to change anything. All my wires on this mounting plate is in the same position as my old one. Again, the notes on here. So I have a heat pump, and it says do not connect wire to W for heat pump. It uses W2 instead of W, which is what my old thermostat used too. A lot of heat pumps like to use W2 to not mistake for the OB, or the reversing valve for refrigerant. So I'll go over this real quick. So red is 24 volts in. This black for me was emergency heat. So my heat pump, my air handler has heating elements in it for emergency heat. My main heat pump heat is in W2. My orange went to the OB to reverse the refrigerant valve. So a heat pump can move refrigerant in either direction to heat or cool. And then over here we got yellow, which is cooling. Y2 is not used in my setup. That would be like if you had a 2-stage compressor, so you had a second stage. Green is your fan, and blue is your common. So basically the way I have it set up is your power in is here, and all your heat, and then your cooling, your fan, and your common power in, which is power to the thermostat. So basically all the thermostat does is take this 24 volts AC power in and connects it to other wires to then go to your air handler to heat, cool, turn the fan on. So that's synopsis of it. That's my setup for a heat pump. A lot of basic setups only use 5 wires, so heating, cooling, fan, power in, and then power common to power the thermostat. So I have 2 extra wires for the reversing valve and emergency heat because I'm on a heat pump. Now I cut the breaker back on, and now we're going to install the thermostat. It has 4 tabs in each corner and clicks into place, and you can install it upside down because the pins won't line up. So I don't want to let you do it the right way. Just kind of center it on the mount, flip it on. Looks like it's flush. Everything looks good. And we'll start setup. Alright, and that comes up with start setup. Would you like to use the app? I'm going to set it up on here for this. So no. It wants me to put in a schedule. I don't really care about that. I do have a heat pump system. Air to air, yep. OB on cool, yep. The reversing valve, which is standard compressor stages 1. Aux heat, nope, go back. How do I edit that? Stages. Gotta click on it. So I have aux or emergency heat because it's a heat pump. Done, saved, and finish setup. Saving setup. Set up Wi-Fi. No, I'll do that on the app later. So I don't care what time it is. So sure. Use daylight. Savings, sure. You can format the time. I'll connect it to Wi-Fi and auto sync all that later. So here it is, it comes up. So I'll run through what you should do. So it's in mode off. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on. Actually, I think the first thing I'll do is heat. So heat, bring the temperature up above like 75. Fan is an auto. It says heat on in the corner here. And I'll make sure my heat works, and then I'll be right back. So it looks out when it times out. I should notice too, on my GoPro, everything looks more blue, but in real life it's more white, gray looking, all the indications. So we'll try mode to cool, set to like 65, and go see if that works as well. Cool on is flashing, so it's bringing on cool. Alright, and since I have the emergency heat, I'm going to put it into emergency heat as well. That came on right away. And I'll go check that as well, make sure it heats in emergency. In emergency heat, it's turning on that electric heating element, not using the heat pump. Works in emergency heat as well. So you got the mode menu and fan button here. So I'm just going to go to off for now. And then fan you have on, circulate, or auto. Auto means the fan only runs when the heating or cooling is running. And then on turns your fan on all the time if you want to circulate air. And then also has the circulate function, which periodically turns your fan on. I haven't been able to figure out the exact specs, but most time it's like it'll run your fan for 5 to 10 minutes every hour or something like that. But if I can figure that out, I'll let you know. But I wasn't able to look it up, and I didn't see it in the user's manual. So I'm just going to leave my fan in auto. Go through some of the menu settings real quick. So schedule, you can set up your schedule. So you have wake, away, home, and sleep. Pretty standard. You can do Monday through Friday, separate Saturday, Sunday, or by day. Pretty standard for scheduling. Screen lock, I think the screen lock is just so you can lock it so no one can use it, or to like clean the screen off. Wi-Fi, to set up your Wi-Fi, which I'll do in a little bit. Brightness, you can adjust how bright it is. I think I like it all the way on 1. It's still easy to read on 1 for me. Recovery, select recovery on. I'm not sure exactly what recovery is. I think it's, yeah, I'd have to look it up. Something about bringing the temperature, last temperature you had back, or how it works. I'll have to look that one up. But set the clock time, date, clean screen, temp scale, Celsius or Fahrenheit, I imagine. change over. Oh, so it has, so if you set a schedule for your like heat and cool for maximum temp, you can leave it manual, so like it'll only run in like whatever mode you have it on. So if you have it on heat, it'll only run heat to maintain your temperature. If you put it in auto, it'll run heat to maintain your temperature, and if it gets too hot, it'll then kick on cool. So you can have it set to whichever mode you want. I'll leave it in auto for now. Equipment status, then come in here and look at the current status of the system and how it's configured. Device info about the network and thermostat, and then we can go back to the main menu. But now let's check out the app real quick. I looked up recovery real quick. It's where if you turn recovery on, if you have like a colder or hotter temperature overnight, and then at the awake setting on your schedule, if you don't want it to like start heating at that time, like so say like 6 a.m., you could turn on recovery to be at target temperature by 6 a.m. So it'll turn on earlier and raise the temperature more gradually than come in full on at the set time. But the app that is used for this is called this Residio app. I already downloaded it. I already have my downstairs thermostat set, so I want to add this upstairs one, so I'm going to hit plus. And it tells you to pick your thermostat. T5 Wi-Fi thermostat. Is the thermostat on the wall? Yes. Is it displaying a temperature? Yes. Start the thermostat. Press the center temperature on your thermostat for 5 seconds. Okay. Alright, and then I brought up this like connecting mode. Is it displaying BLE? Yes. And it is looking for my thermostat and connecting. And then it came up with configure your system. Hit next. I already configured it. So 8711, it's giving me a code to put in. Put the code in, and now it is connecting. Running me through kind of like the setup again, but my settings that I already configured on here are here. So it says heat pump, air to air, O for the reversing valve, compressor stages 1, heating stages 1. Hit next. Thermostat configured. Next. Wants to connect to my Wi-Fi. So I'll grab my Wi-Fi and put in my password real quick. Alright, it says success, and now the Wi-Fi indication is solid. Choose location. This will be home. Name your thermostat. So this is my upstairs one, so I'm just going to name it upstairs. Done. Registering device. And then I'll show you about what you can do on the app to control it. It says success on the app. I'm going to hit next. Done. Later. And now I have my downstairs and upstairs. It is currently syncing. And to go over a little bit of the app, so on the home screen here, you can set up your geofencing or vacation modes for if you want like temperatures to change when you leave your house. You can add other users. The address is just your zip code for where it gives you weather. Rebates, I'll talk about that in a little bit. Account details, you can link your Alexa and voice controls there. And then you can go into your thermostat. So I'll go to upstairs, the one I just added. It has a thing that'll like walk you through the app. I'm not going to do that. So it shows you the current temperature, 72, real big. You can set the mode. So I have cooling, heating, and emergency heat. It's off right now. Again, you can set the fan on, auto, or circulate. You can set up your schedule. And it also gives you data on runtime, so how long your heating and cooling runs, which is kind of cool. And then the options, you can look at your thermostat configuration, reset your Wi-Fi, adjust the brightness, turn on that recovery mode. Actually, I'm going to leave that off. So there's the basics of the app, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the rebates I got. So you can use the app to look for rebates, or you can just Google if your power or gas companies in your area give rebates. In my case, my Home Depot app tells me based on my zip code. And in there I was able to submit for a $50 rebate from my gas company and a $30 rebate from my electric company. And I already submitted those. You just fill out the info, you send them like a picture of the receipt, a picture of it installed on the wall, you give them the model and serial number. And the gas company is sending me a gift card. I'm not sure how the electric company is going to pay me yet, but I've already submitted those. Yeah, basically it's a $100 thermostat. There was a sale at Home Depot, so I bought two. I got them for $90 each, or $89.99, and I'm getting $80 back. So basically $10 to upgrade to a smart thermostat. Again, there's what it looks like with the lights on, and then when you wake up the screen, and then I'll do a shot in the dark. That'll probably be helpful. All right, I have the lights off in my hallway upstairs, so that's how dim it is with the like power dim mode. And then if you touch the screen, it's brighter, so you can adjust it. And then after like a minute, it goes dim again. But yeah, that's basically what it looks like in the dark. So that's bright still. Turn these lights back on. And it does come with this protective screen that I've kept on the whole time. So I'm working in the hallway, so I'm gonna leave the protective screen on until I'm done and then peel it off. So we're done. So yeah, I hope this video was helpful. This is the first time owning smart Wi-Fi thermostats, so it was kind of a learning process for me as well. I tried to include as many little details as I could that I thought would be helpful to someone else shopping for a smart thermostat. I really like this design. I wasn't a fan of like some of the Ecobee and Nest like round ones, and then after looking at reviews and like Honeywell's a trusted brand in this stuff more than all the newer companies. So I want to go with Honeywell because it's a better vetted brand, better product support, I think. But I really like how it looks. Nice, clean look. Again, this looks more blue on the video, but it's actually white. It looks really nice, really clean look. So yeah, again, hope this was helpful. If I missed something or you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.